I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya.
I would say the situation is dire statewide.
That's Flagler County Health Officer Bob Snyder speaking last night in a webinar on reopening Flagler schools. As he ran down growing statistics in terms of COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and even deaths, Flagler added 3 COVID-19 deaths this week alone. Snyder told parents face coverings will be required when schools reopen their doors.
Facial coverings will be required in places where social distancing just cannot occur, like in corridors, hallways, as we're transitioning from classroom to classroom. So that's where it's very important, Mom and Dad, to make sure that our children and students have facial coverings. And that could be a cloth mask, a bandana, a buff, a scarf, just anything to completely cover the nose and the mouth.
Masks will be made available for anyone who needs one. He also urged parents.
Please keep your child home if sick, especially if the child is experiencing flu-like or COVID-like 19-like symptoms.
Hear more from Snyder, Flagler School Superintendent Kathy Middlestat, and several other representatives from Flagler Schools at noon today when WNZF airs the full reopening schools discussion.
School starts in Flagler County on August 10th.
But how will kids be schooled? Flagler County Schools Superintendent Kathy Middlestat says it could be a couple of ways because of the novel coronavirus.
Right now, the percentage for the virtual learning is close to 20%.
Middlestat said that does not mean that 80% of parents want kids in school buildings.
I have not reached all of our families. That was a big lift we did.
She said that as some parents have their own underlying medical conditions, they do not want their children in schools and wearing masks. Middlestat also said that the school district is exploring a mix of both in-school and virtual learning. To listen to the interview with Flagler County School Superintendent Kathy Middlestat, download the Flagler Radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
As Flagler Beach's city manager returns to work next week, he'll be walking into an ongoing controversy over dune restoration. John Arking explains.
Flagler County still needs 15 more easements for a 2.6-mile dune restoration plan to get underway, and without them, there's concern that the $25 million project will collapse. It's in that context that Flagler Beach manager Larry Newsom will be returning to work on Monday after taking an extended medical leave for the past several weeks. But Newsom says at the end of the day, there's only so much they can do.
We can't make people sign documents that they don't want to sign. We're not the mafia. So the bottom line is that they don't want to sign documents, which I think is foolish because, at the end of the day, that beach erosion project will not only protect A1A, it'll protect their property if you live along A1A.
County officials have spent months trying to get all the pertinent beachfront property owners to sign easements required by the Army Corps of Engineers so that additional sand can be placed along the coastline to help protect against future storm damage. While 126 easements have been obtained, there are still 13 property owners holding out on the final 15 easements. Regardless of the outcome, Newsom says it's still a great community and he's eager to get back to work.
If you ask people on Flagler Beach, does Flagler Beach function differently than Flagler Beach was when I got here 4 years ago? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it's still a good Flagler Beach. I think people are having a good time. So that's where I'm at.
As to the project, it's believed that 10 of the 13 holdouts are looking for monetary payouts in exchange for the easement, but both the county and city have made clear there is no money forthcoming for that. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
A Flagler Beach man is arrested in connection with the burglary of his neighbor's shed. With more, here's Tony Magoo.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office responded to a burglary call last Sunday at 3345 Old Kynes Road south in Flagler Beach. The homeowner reported that her shed had been damaged and she located bolt cutters in the area. We have Sheriff Rick Staley with us this morning.
Our district policing concept has paid off again. By having deputies work the same areas, they get to know the residents and the criminals.
The suspect was identified from the video.
Deputies recognized the suspect, and along with working with our detectives, were able to build a case.
After reviewing security footage, deputies identified the man as 56-year-old Mark Edward Jacobs. He was placed under arrest and charged with burglary during a state of emergency and criminal mischief. He's booked into the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility where he's being held on a $5,500 bond. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.